week. Welcome to the Flexing on 'em Friday football edition of the program. NFL Week 2 is upon us. Another winning program for your boy last night. 2-1 with my picks yesterday. That makes it 3 straight profitable shows. So we're stacking them up right around here. Okay, so no funny business. Off the top, let's bring in my co-host for the day, Ian McMillan. Flexing on 'em Friday. My guy from BetMGM. What is up? There we go. Look at the guns. Wendy's Coldbrook, representing home of the 99-cent Frosty free ad. Ian, what did you make of the game last night?
It was a heartbreaker. I thought the over was the right play. It didn't hit. I don't know. It was a tough one for me. I think I lost every bet I placed, but that's okay. We're on to the weekend. I like a little adversity. And I do need to give a shout-out to Wendy's Coldbrook, as you mentioned, the best Wendy's east of Montreal.
There we go. Free ad for Wendy's. We'll have to hit them up and maybe get some free Dave's Doubles for lunch, potentially, here, Ian. Okay, so, I had a little bit of luck there with that Chargers backdoor cover, but I will absolutely take that. So, jam-packed show today. 3 total picks from me for the NFL, 3 total picks from Ian, and of course, it is the return of the most controversial bet in all of sports betting, the Greasy Moneyline Parlay. Guys, do me a favor if you're watching on YouTube right now. Make sure you give me a like. Make sure you give a subscription to this channel. That's enough small talk. Let's get right into the action here, Ian. It is my pick for my favorite underdog of the week in the NFL. I absolutely love the Saints coming in at plus 2.5 with the Bucs in town. Hey, I think the wrong team is favored here in this game. And this line is totally based off reputation because these aren't the same Bucs from the last 2 years. Gronk and a well-behaved Antonio Brown ain't walking through that door. Already seeing some early concerns for Tampa Bay. Of course, Chris Godwin out. Julio Jones already showing up on the injury report. Big shock there. And of course, the issues with the offensive line, very well documented. I think they're going to catch up to them soon, potentially in this game. So some takeaways from the past couple of meetings between these teams. 4 straight regular seasons wins for the Saints in this matchup. They shut them out in one game. They held them to just 3 points in another one of those games. Brady was sacked a total of 13 times in those 4 games. That's when he had a good offensive line in front of him. Now, don't sleep on the Saints offense. Don't be surprised if a couple weeks from now that we're talking about the Saints offense as one of the best in the NFL. Tied for second in yards per play last week. That 3-headed attack at wide receiver. Very scary looking. Okay, moving on to Ian. Ian, what do you have for your first pick?
I'm going to take the Colts, actually, to beat up on the Jaguars here. I think it might get a little nasty. Colts, they're only, I know they tied week 1 against the Texans, but I actually think they kind of dominated that game. If you look at yards per play, 5.7 yards per play for the Colts. They held the Texans to only 4.4 yards per play. Obviously, some untimely turnovers and the inability to score when they got to the red zone hurt them. But, I mean, look at the numbers. They dominated the Texans in that game. And if you look at the point spread this week, only 3.5 points favorites against the Jaguars. They were anywhere between 7.5 to 8.5 point favorites against the Texans last week. Are the Jaguars really 4 to 5 points better than the Houston Texans? No. I certainly don't think so. And a big reason for that is because Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's good. I don't know when the media is going to start talking about this guy. He had a horrible rookie season that was largely forgiven because of Urban Meyer, and then he came out in week 1 and didn't look good against a not-so-great Washington defense. Only completed 24 of 42 passes, 275 yards, 1 touchdown, and a killer interception that lost them the game. So I think the Colts run away with this one.
Yeah, I love that spot. I don't understand that line at all. The Colts were favored by 14 when those teams last met. Now it's down to 3.5. I don't know about that. Trevor Lawrence still dining out on the Urban Meyer excuse. Okay, moving on. A lot of big favorites this week. The big favorite that I like the most comes from the Sunday night game. I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers minus 9.5 with the Chicago Bears in town. So this is the ultimate bounce back spot, the ultimate get right spot, whatever you want to call it, because the Green Bay Packers are a team that makes adjustments. They are 9-0 against the spread after a loss under Matt LaFleur in the regular season. Maybe a pattern carrying over from 2021. The sky was falling in week 1 last season too. I'll bring it back. The Packers got destroyed 38-3 on the road versus the Saints. Week 2, what did they do? They returned home and they destroyed the Lions by 18 points. And Aaron Rodgers, he owns this Bears team. You're going to hear a lot about this if you haven't already this week. He is 20-7 against the spread versus Chicago. 5 straight double-digit wins over Chicago. Green Bay has 13 straight regular season wins at home. This is an absolute thing of beauty. Give me the Packers to cover the spread on Sunday night. Ian, next up, what do you like?
Yeah, you just picked a big favorite in the Packers. My big favorite that I like this week is the Rams. Talking about bounce-back spots. Here's a fantastic bounce-back spot for the Rams because they're going to take on my shitty Atlanta Falcons who absolutely suck. Don't overreact to the Week 1 loss for the Rams. Let's not forget they did take on the Super Bowl favorites in the Buffalo Bills. Now they're going to go from playing one of the best teams, arguably the best team in the NFL. Now they get to take on what some people are calling the worst team in the NFL in the Falcons. And Aaron Donald, I think, is going to have a massive game because the Falcons' biggest weakness on offense, yeah, they have some good playmakers, but the interior of their offensive line might as well be replaced by pylons. Aaron Donald is going to feast against this offensive line. It's going to get ugly. And let's not forget, yeah, the Falcons almost beat the Saints in Week 1, but their defense was atrocious. 6.8 opponent yards per play, especially running the football. The Saints ran down their throat. So I think the Rams are going to win big in this spot here. Also, a little extra time to prepare for the Rams as well, since they played last Thursday. So Rams win big at home against Atlanta.
I like that bounce back spot as well. Okay, so lots of good totals to choose from here in week 2. My favorite of all of them, I'm going to take under 48.5 for Washington in Detroit taking on the Lions. Where the hell are you getting this number from? This is a complete total overreaction. We often talk about overreactions to spreads. This is an overreaction to the Lions combining for 73 points with the Eagles, and Carson Wentz having what I think will be his best game of the whole season against the Jaguars there in week 1. The reason I like this bet the most, very low scoring floor for each of these teams. They each averaged fewer than 20 points per game last season. Washington scored 20 or fewer 9 times. Detroit scored 20 or fewer on 12 occasions last season. And check it out, Goff versus Wentz, baby. It's a storyline of the weekend. Wentz versus Goff went 1-2 at the top of the draft in 2016. Not exactly Mahomes versus Herbert here. I don't think either guy can be trusted to be competent. That is my favorite totals bet of the week. Ian, bring it home for us here with another pick you like.
Yeah, I'm looking at Raiders. -5 against the Cardinals. I will say, I actually got a pretty good line at this, -3.5 when it opened. I still do like it at the current number, though, because I think the Raiders are going to run away with this one. The Cardinals were the worst team in the NFL in Week 1. To be fair, they did play the Chiefs, but it's no excuse to give up 7.4 yards per play on defense, only gaining 4.5 yards per play on offense. Their secondary was absolutely brutal. They allowed Mahomes to complete 30 of 39 passes, 9.2 yards per pass attempt. That's disgusting. Meanwhile, the Raiders did lose to the Chargers, but I actually thought they at least kept up with the Chargers, maybe even outplayed them in some aspects. They gained 5.7 yards per play compared to the Chargers at 5.5 yards per play. I just think the 3 interceptions thrown by Carr killed them. But offensively, outside those interceptions, they looked pretty good. And defensively, one area that they looked fantastic in was their run defense. Chargers only gained 2.5 yards per carry on 31 rushes. I still like the Raiders despite the loss. The Cardinals, I think we're going to see some regression from them this season. So I will take the Raiders to cover the spread on Sunday. The Raiders.
Indeed, Kyler Murray forgot to do his homework for week 1. It's not like he had a couple months to prepare for that one. Okay, now it is time for the return of the most controversial bet in all of sports betting. Of course, I am talking about the Greasy money line parlay. If you don't like it, we don't need you. You can take a hike. So I got a 5-leg Greasy money line parlay coming in at plus 104, combining college and NFL football. Let's get right into it. I'm not going to do big breakdowns on all these games because you don't need to do a big breakdown on big favorites like this. So we're going to start things off with UCLA coming in at minus 600. They got South Alabama traveling across the country to take them on. Actually, hold on. I hear quite a bit of noise there outside of my window. If we can ask producer Tito to switch that camera outside of shit. Quite a bit of excitement here about the Greasy Moneyline Parlay. These people outside, someone's got to call the police. This is a family neighborhood I live in here, Ian. All right, let's get right into the pick here, right back into it. UCLA minus 600 with South Alabama in town. UCLA is on an absolute ass-kicking tour at the moment. Average win margin on 29.4 in their last 5 games. Pass blocking concerns for South Alabama. Wake Forest minus 730. They don't play down to the competition. 28-2 in their last 30 games as a double-digit favorite. 10 straight wins as at home, including a 34-point win to open the season. They topped 40 points in each game this season. Florida minus 2,400. Full disclosure, this is just to put this into the plus money territory. This is a team that should be hungry coming off a loss if they want to maintain their top 25 ranking. No letdown spot here versus a USF team that's lost 12 straight on the road. Switching over to the NFL, we got the Rams minus 475. So teams in week 2 who played in the season opener, like the Rams did, 3 days extra rest. They're 16-4 against the spread in this spot. 8 double-digit losses for Atlanta last season. They'll have their first double-digit loss of the season on Sunday. Then, of course, Sunday night, the Packers minus 450. They are 9-0 ATS after a loss under LaFleur in the regular season. They have 5 straight double-digit wins over Chicago. Green Bay has 13 straight regular season wins at home. So there you have it. The first Greasy money line parlay of the season. Let's hit a winner with that. Okay, guys. So what's that? 7 total bets for you guys. If you're looking to tail any of these, I want to tell you about our friends over at BetMGM. So kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up with BetMGM using bonus code VIBONUS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. That's VIBONUS. All one word, no spaces, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 or older. BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. There you have it, Ian. I still haven't heard back from Jamie Foxx, by the way. We're trying to get Jamie Foxx to make an appearance on the program. I don't know if that is meant to be. He's probably not cheap. Okay, so our topic of the day, let's weigh in, Ian, on what we saw last night, the Thursday night football game. A nice backdoor cover by the Chargers, but maybe they let an opportunity slip away. So my question for you is Brandon Staley good? So we saw what happened with Staley last season. He became a bit of a media darling, a very eloquent speaker during the press conferences, and people took a shine to him due to his risky style of play, going for it on 4th down. But now he's kind of walking that style back a little bit. Some cowardly kicks last night, most notably kicked a field goal on 4th and 2 on the Chiefs' 13-yarder. They punted twice in the Chiefs' territory. So my question for you is, do you think Staley is holding this team back, or is it too early to say that?
Yeah, I think it's too early to say it. I still think he is a good coach. I'm hoping the cowardly moves from last night was just a one-game example of that. I hope he gets back to the Brandon Staley we fell in love with last season, especially myself as an over-better. I don't know what was going on. Not only Brandon Staley, Andy Reid also kicked a field goal from the inch-yard line as well. So I don't know if Brandon Staley and Andy Reid just agreed on cashing in on the under last night or what. But no, I mean, listen, they lost but covered against one of the best teams in the NFL and the Chiefs. I'm not saying Brandon Staley's a bad coach. He's got to get back to that aggressive play calling, though. That was ridiculous what we saw last night. I don't know if maybe he's just listening to his critics a little too much in the offseason. He needs to go for it on those 4th down. That's what made the Chargers so fun last season. Let's get back to that.
Yeah, have a little bit of confidence, a bit of a coward competition there last night on Thursday Night Football. So another big storyline that came out of this one, Ian, I'll get you to weigh in on this, as well as a potential quarterback controversy for the Los Angeles Chargers. So we saw Chase Daniel come in and deliver a beautiful handoff to Sony Michel. That went for 4 yards, and that's pretty interesting because that 4 yards on that carry, much higher than the 3.1 yards per rush average when Herbert was in the game. And we also saw Herbert, he got hurt. He refused to stay out of the game. You know, a little bit of ego taking over there. Maybe a case of him putting himself and his stats before the team. So what do you think? Could we see Chase Daniel getting the start at some point this season?
Yeah, I think it might be what the Chargers need to give them a little boost. I say hold off on betting on the Chargers until they toss in Chase Daniel there. Big locker room guy, I hear. Maybe you can give some motivation for this team, because that is what they need. So Chase Daniel, hey, give him a look. Give the guy a chance.
Yeah, the ego of Herbert, you know, that might be big enough to take down this team. All right. So, yeah, absolutely. It was on full display last night on Thursday Night Football. So if you love what we do here at Vegas Insider, you're going to want to check out the brand new Vegas Insider app. We've got up-to-date, easy-to-navigate odds for every major sport. We have all of our latest shows, best bet videos, and podcasts, props, trends, futures, news, all on the Vegas Insider app. Download the Vegas Insider app right now on Apple and Android. Bet better with the Vegas Insider app. Okay, now it is time for our viewer picks segment of the show. Picks from the CTP crew. Nice little response there today. We had a great response yesterday. I wanted to give a shout out to Bet with Mikey for giving us Reds first 5 and full game team total over winners. So check out at Bet with Mikey for some Major League Baseball. We're going to start things off here. I know this guy, Tommy Freeze Pops. I'm going to want to give this dude a follow on Twitter. So yeah, big fight here on Saturday night. You wouldn't know it. Boxing does such a shitty job of advertising these things, but he is tailing Todd Grisham from our YouTube video, Kevin Rogers. Give me Canelo by knockout, plus 150. He talked openly about wanting to knock Triple G out in this one. He didn't even really want this fight. He was forced by fan pressure and millions of dollars. I think he goes out and proves a point. You know, I don't know a whole lot about boxing, Ian, but I don't know. I'm going to go against Tommy. G. You're on Triple G. I think Canelo can win by decision, but Triple G, they have a draw in their first fight, and Triple G apparently got totally robbed in that one. So I don't know about Canelo. Yeah. Maybe a little bit, potentially a little bit overrated. Okay, Nick's picks. We saw Nick. He gave us a winner a couple days ago, so he's back to do it again. First 5 team total bet. I love these. Over 1.5, minus 130. So Tampa Bay 135 WRC plus at home versus lefties. Tampa Bay 2.2 home runs per game. I'm guessing that's in the first 5 innings. Texas minus 4 defensive runs saved. Perez has been baffling good. I think Tampa Bay can see 2 runs in as good as they are versus lefties. Not as good Texas is on defense. Rays bats are healthy. Wander, Margot, Harold, all are a boost. So check out Nick's picks for some Major League Baseball. Next up, Brandon is weighing in here. He likes Nebraska money line. I think that's a pretty juicy underdog there, right around plus 330 when I last checked. So there's some excitement in the state for Mickey. Renewed energy in fans, players, and coaches. Players are flying around and having fun again. I don't know, Ian. That seems like a pretty big motivation angle to me. Do you not think the opponent is also motivated? I don't know. There's stranger reasons to make bets, but I'm not totally on board with Brandon. But hey, he's taking a risk there, plus 330, so we'll wish him luck with that one. And we have Benny, third and Ben. He likes the Broncos minus 10. They left 14 points on the goal line last week, 100%. They should clean that up. Home opener at Mile High, historically one of the toughest road environments early in the season with the altitude. That's true. Look at the record at home in September. They clean up. Texans blown out on the road in 2021 by the Bills, Colts, Cardinals, and Niners. Yeah, I can't really disagree with them there. If you look into the stats from each of those games, the Broncos probably should have won. and the Texans probably should have got their ass kicked. And we will wrap things up with our guy, Mark. He's been on the program here before. Hey, Joe. Robbie Ray had 10 Ks in his last 3 matchups with the Angels, all since June 17th. His K prop today is set at 6.5, minus 107. Dip his toes in on that one. Yeah, that seems a bit low for Robbie Ray. Speaking of strikeout props, Ian, I had that Carlos Carrasco over 5.5 for 6 outs of the game. All strikeouts. He absolutely mowed them down. I've played hundreds of these things. I don't know if I've ever had one hit quite that easily. Okay. Yes, sir. The final live read here of the day. I'm a little disorganized. I indulged last night. Leave it at that. Okay, so it is time for our handicapper heat check presented by VegasInsider.com. Your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. Today, we recognize Vince Aikens, who can be found on Twitter at SB Breakers. Vince continued his hot streak last night, nailing the Chargers at Chiefs under, bringing his NFL record to 9-2 on the season. He also went 10-0 in college football last Saturday and has tonight's Air Force at Wyoming. Winning parlay already posted. Get Vince's Friday night light side and total by visiting VegasInsider.com/picks. or clicking his promo on the Vegas Insider homepage. That's your handicapper heat check. Stay hot, bettors. There you go, Vince Aikens. On absolute fire, so you're going to want to check him out. So what's going on in your world, Ian? What are your plans for the weekend outside of sitting on the couch here all day Sunday?
Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, I'll be going live with Matt Verderam to give our little NFL pregame show. We'll be giving out our best bets for every single NFL game. I'm not on Daily Bet Slip today, but you can check it out at 4 p.m. Eastern with Donovan Smoot and Reed Wallach. And, of course, check out the Bacon Bets podcast. Also, I will be selling these shirts, $250 each if you want a Wendy's Coldbrook for Life shirt. Very valuable. I'll even rip the sleeves off myself. So $250 a pop. DM me on Twitter.
Nice. So what are you doing for fun this weekend? Dropping a couple of hits of acid, or having a couple of drinks, or just taking her easy?
We'll be at the Mets game tonight, is what I'm going to do for a little bit of fun. So Pirates against Mets, Taijuan Walker taking the mound for the Mets. So I'm going to bet on the game. I don't know what I'm going to pick. If anyone wants to give me a pick for the Mets game, I'll bet it.
All right, if you hear of a story about paramedics needing to drag someone out of Citi Field after overdosing on LSD, that is most certainly Ian. Okay, so a lot coming up here at Vegas Insider. Of course, this show will be back on Monday with Ian to cover the 2 Monday Night Football games and to recap the action from Sunday. You're going to want to check out Down to the Wire tonight right here, 6 p.m. Eastern on the Vegas Insider YouTube channel. You're going to want to check out our Twitter Spaces an hour before kickoff on Sunday. Make sure you are following Vegas Insider on Twitter. Make sure you give this video a like. Make sure you are subscribing to this channel. Guys, good luck with your bets here in week 2, unless, of course, you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Woo!